So what was it that inspired you to make The Return?
Well, I'd been looking to make a high concept, low budget film for a long time. And as I was kind of researching, looking into the psychological thriller genre, which is the one that I love, I realised that it would be a fantastic concept to have a look at what it was like to be the wrong side of a lie, you know, and really drill into that and put an audience through it. And that was the start of it, really.
And what other British directors do you look up to?
Well, I mean, currently Ben Wheatley, because he's just shot High Rise, which is something that it's one of my favourite books. I'm sure it's a lot of people's favourite books. Christopher Nolan as well. His structural renovations that he's done since '99 with following Memento, for me, changed the landscape of what thrillers can be, and in my opinion, should be.
Yeah, so, and of course you are the writer, director and producer, so that's obviously a lot to juggle for you. Do you like having a lot of creative control of your projects?
I think it's nice to have creative control, but really it was born out of necessity because I was 26 when I shot The Return, and no one was going to give me the money or time to make it, and I don't blame them either. But really, the reason I produced it was because it was the safest way to get the film made, because I could construct the scaffolding on which I was working. The writing, I'd been writing for years anyway, so that was fine, and I knew kind of roughly the story I wanted to tell, and directing really is my day job, so that's where that fits in.
Absolutely. And how do you feel to be nominated for the UK Best Feature at Raindance?
Feel great. Feels like it's an anomaly though, a little bit, because it's my first film, and we were just super chuffed to be nominated for Best UK Feature, because, you know, it was enough to be selected, and then at best we thought, you know, Best Debut or something like that. But yeah, we're thrilled and a little puzzled.
And of course, London forms the backdrop of your film. And as a Londoner yourself, how do you choose kind of locations, knowing that you've got it all on your doorstep?
We chose locations in London mostly through. I'll start that again. We chose the locations we shot in London just through practicality, just being pragmatic. My younger brother, who was the third AD and our production manager, jumped in a car and for 2 months drove around knocking on doors. And alongside that, there were a lot of places, cafes, restaurants that I frequented around where I lived. And I just said, look, if you guys cook us the breakfast or the lunch, would you mind opening up a little bit earlier so we can film there? And that's how we secured most of the locations.
Oh, that's a good idea. And what kind of challenges did you come up against working on a smaller budget?
I mean, the main challenge we had was really self-induced. We chose to shoot on 35mm, which meant actually that we got a roadmap for the movie. It meant that everyone had to be on the same page and actually really quite disciplined. So we rehearsed, and then when we eventually come around to shooting it, everyone knew what we were doing. So, but that was the main challenge, really, just taking that risk. You know, I think people enjoyed shooting it.
Absolutely. And if there was any actor that you could work with, do you have one who you'd love to work with?
Absolutely. It's strange you ask that, because recently I bumped into him. Ben Whishaw would be the one guy I would love to work with. I love his work, and I think in the kind of movies that I like, psychological thrillers, I think he would, you know, sit amazingly. But I bumped into him in Islington. I was out on my first anniversary with my girlfriend, and he just came into the restaurant very, very late. And I looked over and I went over and said just hello briefly, because he's doing a theatre show up there. But anyway, Ben Whishaw.
Amazing. And what do you think that is the formula for a winning gangster film?
I don't know. I think the winning formula for a gangster film is tough, because actually I don't see The Return as a gangster film, so maybe that's not the right question for me. But personally, with something like Get Carter, those kind of movies, the British gangster films specifically, it comes to the specificity that you get in the characters, the main characters, and that kind of Britishness. Broadly speaking, I don't know really. I think it's a toughness to the material, whether that's character and action. And I would reference Michael Mann, even though he makes crime films, but I would still call them gangster movies. So that was that's the kind of thing I would say, a toughness of material and style and character.
And what can the audience expect when they see The Return?
They can expect, with The Return, what we wanted to do was create an experience where you too are on the wrong side of a lie. So I hope that they are pulled into Jack, the lead character's world, and then when right at the end, when the secret is revealed, there's a cascade of revelation that he too experiences.
And finally, what is up next for you?
I'm working on a feature psychological thriller about a rivalry and a dangerous new technology, which I have written at the moment, so I'm looking to shoot that next year.